If you are a seasoned entrepreneur and you are pivoting and you basically know exactly what you need to do to pivot, you know about offers and marketing and sales and all of that. But the problem is the more you think about what it takes to rebuild, to redesign, to get the new thing get going, the more exhausted and tired you become, then this is your episode, right? This is the episode where I'm going to show you how to resolve this one specific issue because I see so many people who come to me when they're pivoting and they are tired. Now, and I don't always mean burnout kind of tired. Like sometimes they are truly burnt out and that's fair, right? But not always in a burnt out kind of way, right? I want to show you what it takes to actually find the energy, the passion, whatever it is that you want to call it, that needs to be present in order for you to build the new thing and not to get exhausted just by the thought of the new thing. Okay. All right. So there is this pattern that I have seen happen more and more, which is basically people getting stuck inside of a pivot, right? Meaning they decided to pivot their business for whatever reason, right? And they start the process of pivoting, and 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 2 years, 3 years later, that pivot has not fully manifested. Yes, they might have new offers, or they might have new positioning, or they might have new something, but they never recreated momentum, right? Let's say they had a multiple six-figure business before they pivot, and now they're barely making six figures, or some version of not reaching the success that they hoped the pivot would bring, right? Because 9 times out of 10, if we're pivoting, we want something different, better, more, right? We don't want the same old thing. I talk about this all the time, where the goal is not to move to the next thing. The goal is to be able to go to your next level. But the pattern that I'm seeing more and more often is the pivot doesn't actually elevate you, right? Many times what's happening is people are getting stuck inside of the transition, right? And most of that is because pivoting is very emotional. There's so much that you have to either let go of or change or decide, right? And I won't get into all of the emotional side of pivoting in this episode, although I should do an entire episode just on that topic. But because of pivoting can be such an emotional space, it also lends itself to indecision, right? Because pivoting comes with making so many decisions, and then you add to the fact that some of those decisions are hard decisions. Guess what? I'm tired. Get somebody else to do it. Okay. So, to address this ongoing theme that I keep seeing, where someone has been in transition for 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, instead of the few months that they intended, right? We don't want you getting exhausted just at the thought of what needs to be done and then getting stuck there, right? Because as I stated before, there's a good chance that you already know much of what you need to do, right? But overwhelm, exhaustion, whatever else, fear starts to creeping in. And then guess what? Months and months and months go by, right? So if that is you, I want to give you something that will help you not feel so heavy. Okay. Okay, so the number one thing that I have found that really excites my clients almost, I mean, literally like 99% of the time, maybe 100% of the time if I actually sat down and thought about it, but almost every single time is architecture, right? Think about the phases that go into building a house or building a business. I mean, building a structure of some kind. Let's say you were building a commercial property like a church or, a mall or a house or whatever it is that they might be building. And if you think about it in phases, right? What often happens that depletes your energy is you trying to build the walls before you have the blueprint, right? Think about it, right? Like the blueprint is what makes everything simpler. By the time the construction workers come in and they're laying foundation and they're building drywall and beams and things that I don't know nothing about, okay? By the time they get there, they know exactly what they're doing, right? The process gets much simpler, it gets much smoother. But when you don't have the blueprint, you have to make a lot more decisions on the fly. Those decisions feel a lot more weighty, right? So one of the things that I want to encourage you is you need a blueprint for your pivot. Now, for us, we call this your personalized pivot plan, where you know exactly every single detail that you need to pivot your brand. Why? Because we all know that there are a lot of moving pieces, right? But if you want to be able to pivot and it be easier, it be lighter, it be funner, it actually yield the results that you want, not a lateral move, but an actual elevation. If that is what you want, then you absolutely 100% need some kind of blueprint in order to do that, right? It is energizing, right? It helps you know what you're going to build. It gives you a clear picture. Imagine you were putting a puzzle together, right? And at the end of the puzzle, you can see the picture. Guess what? That feels good. That's what happens when you have a blueprint. You can see the picture clearly, and you're like, you know what? I could do this. Oh, it's gonna help a lot of people. It just turns your energy up a notch, right? It also helps you know what to do first, what to do second, what to do third, right? It eliminates decision fatigue, right? Because again, a lot of times you're making so many different decisions that it's like, you know what? I'm gonna just take a nap. We're just gonna take a day or two, and that turns into a week. Okay. What your brain is looking for is clarity, right? A big part of why your mind gets overwhelmed, right? And you're like, oh, I haven't even started rebuilding, and I'm already tired. Oh, your brain is looking for clarity. It is looking for a simpler path. Tell me how we're going to get to this thing, because right now it feels convoluted. Okay. And here's the truth that you and I both know that we sometimes forget. You execute much better when you are clear. Like literally, you don't have an execution problem. Even though it might feel like you have an execution problem, if the pivot is moving slower than what you feel like it should, it would be easy to be like, you know what, I do have an execution problem. But you don't, my friend. That's not the root. That's not the real problem, right? Architects are the ones that create the blueprints for construction workers to build from, right? If you have a blueprint, the process gets a lot more enjoyable and it eliminates that exhausting feeling that comes on you every single time you think about building this new thing all over again, right? You already know that if you need help creating blueprints, right, for you and or your team to be able to operate from, check out Pivot School. This is our thing. This is what we do. But more than anything, I don't want you getting stuck in exhaustion before you've even gotten the new thing off the ground.